There are people who spend over $6,000 a month and still feel stressed. Yet there are others who live on just $2,000 a month and enjoy a peaceful retirement, travel freely, and live without worry. Why such a big difference? The answer lies in one simple equation most people overlook. Do you believe that with only $2,000 a month, you can still live a free and comfortable retirement? At first, it sounds crazy, because most of us carry one giant number in our heads. You need at least $1 million in the bank before you can even dream about retirement. That is what the media, financial advisors, even friends around you keep repeating. And slowly you begin to believe it. That unless you reach that magic number, your later years will be filled with fear and shortage. But here is the shocking truth. Hundreds of thousands of Americans are already retired, living stable, happy, and often more fulfilled lives on just about $2,000 a month. They did not win the lottery. They do not own million-dollar companies. They did just one thing. They knew how to calculate every number precisely and live by their own financial plan. This creates a fascinating paradox. Some people with millions still feel anxious, afraid the money will not last, worried about rising prices, while others with just $2,000 a month wake up smiling every day, free to do what they love because they know how to turn that small number into a solid foundation. So, where is the secret? Why can $2,000, which sounds so small, be the key that unlocks financial freedom in retirement? The answer may completely change the way you think about money and about the life waiting for you. Let's begin with a simple truth. Retirement is not a fixed number. It is a personal calculation. And yet, we are constantly haunted by huge figures in the media. Type "how much do I need to retire" into Google, and you'll see results everywhere. $1 million, $1.5 million, even $2 million. Those numbers appear so often, they turn into a default belief, making almost everyone feel retirement is out of reach. In reality, according to the Transamerica Center, more than 56% of Americans fear they will never have enough money to retire. That means one out of every two people carries that fear. And sometimes the fear is worse than the reality. Because when you look at the actual statistics, you see a very different picture. According to the Social Security Administration, nearly 50% of retirees in America live mainly on Social Security benefits, an average of about $1,800 a month. It sounds harsh, and yet millions of people are surviving, even living decently on that amount. That proves something important. The minimum number to live is not always as big as we imagine. To make this clearer, let's compare two everyday scenarios. In New York, an expensive city, the average cost for a retiree can reach $5,500 a month. Housing, insurance, food, everything is costly. If you live there, thinking you need $1 million to retire is not wrong. But in states like Texas or Florida, where living costs are more reasonable, many people spend only $1,800 to $2,200 a month. And in suburban areas, if the mortgage is paid off, the total can be even lower. Here lies the key truth. The cost of retirement does not depend on one universal number. It depends on where you live, how you spend, and what you truly need to feel happy. So ask yourself, do you really need $6,000 a month to feel joy? Or could $2,000 be enough to slow down, take care of your health, walk with your partner, and enjoy life's simple pleasures? The irony is this. Many high earners still feel deprived in retirement because they are used to overspending. Meanwhile, ordinary people who learn to balance their budget often feel far more content. So why such a difference? Why do some keep running all their lives while others can stop sooner, even without massive wealth? The answer lies in how they see and calculate. And this is the moment we flip the old belief. Safe retirement owes a lot of money. The real truth is this. Safe retirement equals the right calculation for you. And this is where everything flips. We are taught to believe that the more we spend, the better life becomes. But the truth is the exact opposite. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, James, worked his entire life at a large company in New York. By the time he retired, he had more than $1.2 million in his retirement account. Everyone assumed James would enjoy a luxurious, carefree retirement. But reality told a different story. He still worried every single month. Housing, insurance, and his spending habits consumed nearly $6,000 each month. Even with over $1 million saved, he lived in constant fear. Will this money last 20 more years? What if I live 25? Now let me introduce you to Linda, a woman I met in Florida. She never had a high salary, but she lived with discipline. Her home was fully paid off. Her car was old, but reliable. She kept her expenses modest. Her total monthly spending? About $1,900. She received Social Security, plus a little from small investments. And you know what? Linda lived peacefully. She was happy. And she even set aside enough each year to travel to Europe. Two people, same stage of life, but completely different outcomes. One had over $1 million and still lived in anxiety. The other had just $2,000 a month and lived in peace. So where is the secret? It is not about the number you have. It is about how you calculate and control your spending. And here's the shocking part. If you cut just 20% of fixed costs, housing, car, insurance, you could free up $500 to $700 every month. That alone could be the line between a stressful life of never enough and a relaxed life where you know you are covered. But it goes even further. If you are willing to expand your map, the picture gets more surprising. In Mexico, about $1,500 a month buys you a comfortable life, spacious housing, good food, quality healthcare. In Thailand, just $1,200 a month is enough for a life with plenty of comfort. In Portugal, with around $1,800 a month, you get the beauty of Europe, the ocean, and one of the best healthcare systems in the world. This is called geographic arbitrage, taking advantage of cost of living differences around the globe. It proves a powerful point. $2,000 in the US might only cover the basics, but that same amount abroad can unlock a rich, fulfilling lifestyle. So what is the real problem? The problem is not that you do not have enough money. The problem is that you do not know exactly how much you need. Most people chase some vague number, 1 million, 2 million, without ever sitting down to calculate, what are my actual expenses? What truly makes me happy? What income sources will I have in retirement? And that is the hidden trap. We live in fear of numbers imposed on us by others, instead of discovering the number that is truly ours. By now, you may be asking yourself, so what do I need to do to make $2,000 a month truly enough for my retirement? The good news is, the answer is not complicated. In fact, it comes down to just a few simple steps, and you can start them today. Step 1. Calculate your bare minimum budget. Sit down with a piece of paper or an Excel sheet. Write out the essential expenses you cannot cut. Housing or rent, basic food, insurance and healthcare, utilities, internet, transportation. This is your foundation, the number that tells you, if I only maintain the basics, how much do I really need each month? For many people, this figure is far lower than they ever imagined. Step 2. Add your comfort factor. Retirement is not about just surviving, it is about living comfortably. So add in the small things that make life worth living. A short trip once a year, a budget for gifts to your grandkids, eating out once or twice a week. These do not require thousands. Just a few $100s can make a huge difference in happiness. Step 3. Compare it with your fixed income. This might come from a pension, Social Security, rental income, or returns from small investments. Add it all up. Now you see how much cash flow you actually have each month. If that number matches or even comes close to the budget you just calculated, you are already almost financially ready to retire without fear. Step 4. Optimize fixed expenses. This is your strongest lever. For example, downsizing from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom home could save $300 to $400 a month. Switching from a new car to a used one might save a few hundred more. Or moving from an expensive state to a lower cost one could cut total expenses by 30. Changes like these have helped many retirees save $500 to $1,000 every month. That difference alone is often the line between constant worry and true peace of mind. And here is the best part. You do not need to change everything overnight. You can start small, by trimming one fixed expense, adjusting your budget, or even exploring life in a lower cost area. Each step brings you closer to that $2,000 target, and closer to real freedom. Do you see it now? The retirement equation is not as terrifying as it is often painted. It is not about chasing millions of dollars. It is about knowing the right calculation. for you. And that is something anyone can do. So we've reached an important truth together. Retirement is not a privilege reserved for the wealthy. It is not some distant dream that requires $1 million to achieve. At its core, retirement is simply a personal equation, an equation of cash flow, of spending habits, and of what truly brings you happiness. Some people spend $6,000 a month and still feel anxious because they never know what enough really is, while others live peacefully, freely, and happily on just $2,000 a month. Freedom does not come from a giant number. It comes from control and from confidence in your choices. If you feel $1 million is far out of reach, remember this. You do not need to compare yourself to anyone else. Instead, ask yourself, how much do I actually need each month to live comfortably? And what income streams do I already have to cover it? When you find your own answer, you'll realize early, comfortable retirement is not far away at all. Here's the message I want to leave you with. Retirement is not the end of work. It is the beginning of freedom. And that freedom can come from numbers far smaller than you ever imagined. If this video gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe and join me for more insights on financial freedom. And let me ask you, for you personally, what monthly number would feel enough for a comfortable retirement? Share your answer in the comments. I would love to read it, because every number is its own story. And if you found this content useful, share it with friends or family. Who knows? They might be surprised to discover that their dream of retirement is far simpler than they ever thought. Remember this, sometimes $2,000 a month is not just money. It can be the door that opens to a life of freedom, peace, and joy, greater than you ever imagined.